this is a book about a man who tricked the devil three times.
2 times?
3 times.
3
He
times.
tricked the devil. See, here's the devil here.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
this
this
is
book.
a man named Juan Pobreza. In English we would say John the Poor Man. But in Spanish he's Juan Pobreza. And he was a very poor man, and he was a blacksmith. And he had a little shop out in the grasslands in the Pampas in Argentina. And he'd sit out in that rundown shack all day long, and people would come to him, and they'd bring their horses if they needed a horseshoe or anything they needed made of metal. But often he had nothing to do, and he got very lonely out there in the grassland. Now one day, when he was just sitting in his chair, looking out over the grasslands, along came a man with a mule. And the mule was limping along on 3 legs. And he said, "That mule has lost a shoe. I better get my forge hut so I can make a shoe for that mule." So he stoked up his forge and started looking around for something to make a shoe for the mule with. And sure enough, the man came in and said, "My mule has lost a shoe. Could you please make a shoe for him?" And Juan Pobreza looked all over for some metal that was suitable for a horseshoe. And all he could find was a lump of silver, pure silver. And he said, "Well, how about this? Would this do? A horseshoe made out of pure silver for your mule?" And he hammered it into a shoe, and then he put the shoe on the mule, and the man asked him, "Well, how much would that cost?" Now, the reason Juan Pobreza was such a poor man is that he always did nice things for everybody. And he looked at the man and said, "This man looks poorer than I am. I can't ask him to pay me." So he said, That's okay. That's okay. It's on the house. You don't have to pay me anything." Now the man smiled and whispered to him, "I have a secret to tell you. I'm not who you think I am. My name is San Pedro. I'm St. Peter, and I guard the gates of heaven. See these keys I have? These are the keys to the gates of heaven. And I will grant you 3 wishes. But I would advise you, make your wish to go to heaven." And Juan Pobreza looked at the man and said, This old man's crazy. But I'm lonely out here, so okay, I'll play the game with him." And he said, "Oh, I'm not ready to go to heaven yet. But you know what I would like? I would like it if anyone who sat down in this chair could never get up out of it till I told him to. You see, I'm lonely out here. There's nobody out here but me most of the time. And if nobody could get out of this chair unless I told them they could, I could get people to sit down in my chair and keep me company as long as I wanted to. And then I'd only let them go when I was tired of their company." Granted, said the man. Now, you have wasted one wish. Time for your second wish. And take my advice. Wish to go to heaven. I'm not ready to go to heaven yet. See my fig tree out there? It has delicious figs on it. But people come out here and eat my figs and go away, and I'm lonely again. So I wish that anyone who climbs up in my fig tree can't get down until I tell them they can. The old man scowled. I grant your second wish, but you have wasted 2 wishes. Now, this is your last wish. Wish to go to heaven. Juan Pobreza said, you foolish idiot, I'm not going to wish to go to heaven. You see my little pouch here? I wish that anybody who gets inside of this pouch can't get out until I tell them they can. St. Peter scowled. I grant your 3rd wish, but you have wasted 3 wishes, and you will never get to heaven. I gave you 3 chances to get to heaven, and you blew every one of them. You will never get to heaven. And the man got on his mule and rode off. And as he rode away, Juan Pobreza noticed something. There was a golden halo around his head. And he said, oh my, I bet he really was St. Peter. I bet I really did waste 3 wishes. Oh no, I could have wished to be young again. I could have wished to be rich and wealthy. Oh, if the devil himself were to show up here at my door, I'd sell my soul for 20 years of youth and a bag of gold. And no sooner had he said that.
Oh, really?
There was a very well-dressed man with a big smile on his face standing in his doorway. And the man said, my name is Mr. Wetcoal. And I can give you 20 years of youth and a big bag of gold. All you have to do is sign this contract that I get your soul after 20 years. Juan Pobreza noticed something funny about the man. Behind him was a red tail with a spike on the end of it. But he was so happy that he could be young again and be rich. He had never been rich in his life. He had always been a poor man that he quit. Signed the contract. And Mr. Wetcoal disappeared in a flash of lightning. And behind him was a smell of sulfur. Juan Pobreza went out to the duck pond and looked at himself in it.
I got that.
Yes, he was young again. And he smiled and he looked beside him, and there was a big bag overflowing with gold, and he said, whoopee! I'm young and I'm rich. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to throw a big party for everybody in the Pampas for miles around. So he threw a big party, and there was lots and lots of food to eat, lots and lots of drink. The musicians played music, the people danced and laughed and had a good time, and they partied for a whole week. And after 7 days, when everybody was asleep, Juan Pobreza said, Now I'm going to travel around the world. And off he went. Went to the Nile in Egypt and rode on an elephant. And he spent a lot of time in castles and palaces, partying with rich people. And he danced with princesses and queens. And everybody said what a wonderful, charming, handsome man he was. But those 20 years passed very, very quickly. And 20 years later, he woke up, and there he was, back in his little blacksmith shop. And standing at the door was Mr. Wet Coal.
What's his name?
Mr. Wet Coal.
Wet Coal.
And Mr. Wet Coal said, "All right, 20 years is over. Now it's time for you to come with me." And Juan Pobreza looked at him and said, "Just a minute. I want to get my toothbrush, and I want to get a change of underwear." Wet Coal laughed. "You won't need a change of underwear where I'm taking you, and you won't need a toothbrush either, but go get them if you wish." And Juan Pobreza said, "Just sit down in that chair. I'll be back in a minute." And he came back in a minute, and he said, "All right, I'm ready to go." And Wet Coal tried to get up out of the chair, but he couldn't do it. He struggled and screamed as hard as he could, and he thrashed about on that chair, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get out of the chair. And Juan Pobreza laughed. "I got the devil stuck in my chair," and he laughed for hours while the devil tried to get up out of the chair. And then he said, "Mr. Wet Coal, I'll make you a deal. Another 20 years of youth and 2 big bags of gold, and I'll let you get out of the chair." The devil had no choice. And they signed a contract. Juan Pobreza let the devil loose, and this time he really had fun for 20 years. He traveled around the world in a big air balloon, and he went everywhere and met queens and princesses and wealthy people, and he rubbed elbows with all the richest people in the world. But having fun, time went by quickly, and soon the 20 years was over. Now this time, Mr. Wet Coal had brought the demon Beelzebub with him and said, "All right, you're coming with me now, and no tricks." Juan Pobreza said, "Okay, I'm ready to go. Just let me grab my toothbrush and a change of underwear. Just wait right here." And Wet Coal said, "I'm not sitting down this time." "Oh, you don't have to sit down, but taste my figs up in the tray. They're the most delicious figs anywhere in the pampas." Beelzebub climbed up immediately. Wet Coal was suspecting a trick. But Beelzebub threw down a fig and said, "Here, try one. They are the most delicious figs I've ever tasted." And then Wet Coal climbed up too, and Juan Pobreza came out and said, "All right, I'm ready to go. Come on down." But try as hard as they could, they couldn't get down out of the fig tree. And Juan Pobreza sat down in his chair and laughed. "I've got the devil and Beelzebub stuck in my fig tree. Ha, 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 ha." And after 3 hours of laughing, he said, "I'll make you another deal. Another 20 years of youth. And all the money I can spend." and I'll let you down out of the fig tree. Well, they didn't have any choice. Wetco and Beelzebub agreed. They signed another contract, climbed down from the fig tree and said, okay, 20 years from now, you just wait. You just wait. Now this time, Juan Pobreza bought an airplane. He had all the money he could spend, so he flew over cities and over farms and just tossed money out of the plane. Everybody got rich. There were no more poor people in the world because Juan Pobreza was just throwing money out of the plane at everybody. And everyone was real happy. But the 20 years passed very quickly, and he was back at the blacksmith shop, and this time the devil and all the demons from hell came out. No tricks, no toothbrush, no change of underwear. This time you're coming right with me. Pobreza just looked at them. Do I know you? He said. Don't pretend you don't know me. You signed a contract with me that I get your soul. And now you're coming with me. I don't believe you're the devil. I don't believe these are demons. You're just a bunch of kids dressed up for Halloween. Come here to have fun. Kids am I. And Pobreza said, if you were really the devil, and these were really all your demons, you could change yourself and all the demons into a tiny little ant. But you can't do that, so you're not the devil. Oh, can't I? Said the devil. And in a whirlwind, he and all the demons shrunk down into a little tiny ant. Juan Pobreza wasted no time. He scooped up that ant and put him in his pouch and said, all right, now I've gotcha. And he put that pouch on his anvil and picked up his heaviest sledgehammer and pounded that pouch with the devil and all the demons in it as hard as he could. And after an hour, he was so tired he couldn't pound anymore, and he said, that was great exercise. We'll do that again tomorrow. And he lay down and went to sleep, and the next day, same thing. He pounded on that pouch for an hour with the devil and the demons inside screaming. Now things got a lot better on the Pampas, with the devil and his demons trapped in Juan Pobreza's pouch. All of a sudden there weren't any more fights. Everybody got along. Everybody helped out their neighbors. Even the dogs and cats were friendly with each other. And some people were unhappy. The banker was unhappy. Tried to loan out some money, but people said, we don't need money. We got everything we need. And if we need anything, our neighbors are always glad to help us out. And the general said, come on, let's go fight a war. But the people all said, we don't want to fight a war. We have no enemies. We're all friends. And the politician said, we gotta pass some laws around here. But the people all said, we don't need laws. We're getting along just fine without them. So all these greedy people, the general, the politician, and the banker, they hatched a plot. We've got to get the devil and the demons out of Juan Pobreza's pouch. So they came down there and said, "We know you've got the devil and the demons in your pouch. Now let them out. Right now." Juan Pobreza shrugged. He was tired of this. "Okay," he said.
How could you go?
"But I want to give them one more pounding before I do." So he picked up his sledgehammer, put the pouch on the anvil, pounded it as hard as he could, and when he could pound no more, he said, "All right, you guys can come out now." And that little ant crawled out of the pouch, and all of a sudden there was a whirlwind, and it expanded into the devil and all the demons, and they screamed, "Ah, that's the man who's been pounding us with a sledgehammer every day!" And they ran off as fast as they could. Juan Pobreza was tired now. He'd lived a long, long time. And he said, "I think I'm ready to die now." And he lay down on his bed, put his hat over his chest, closed his eyes, and died. His soul left his body and went up to heaven. But when he got up there was that man he called a crazy idiot standing at the gates. And he said, "Oh, no, I hope he doesn't recognize me." And he pulled his hat down over his eyes, but didn't help. San Pedro looked at him and said, "I gave you 3 chances to go to heaven, and you blew every one of them. Now go away. I am never, ever going to let you into heaven." Poor Juan Pobreza, he couldn't get into heaven, so he went down the long staircase to hell. When he got to the gates of hell, the devil locked the door and chained it, and they all screamed, "Go away, go away! That's the man who pounded us with a sledgehammer every day for a month. Go away, this is one of your tricks. We don't want you here. Go!" "Oh, come on," said Juan Pobreza. "I'm lonely. I got nowhere to go." "Well, you're not going here," screamed the devil. "Go away." So Juan Pobreza turned around and went back to earth. He couldn't get into heaven and he couldn't get into hell, so he became a ghost and haunted the Pampas. But he's still a very kind man. When a family has come on hard times, they have no food, sometimes they'll wake up in the morning and find a whole table set with good food. And they'll say, "Last night, Juan Pobreza was here." Sometimes a family will have a sick child and they won't be able to afford medicine. And they'll wake up in the morning and there's the medicine on the table. And they'll smile and say, "Juan Pobreza was here." And he's still on the Pampas doing very kind things for people. And if you go out on the Pampas, some cloudy night, you'll see Juan Pobreza riding across the sky.
You get my idea?
You want to see him? There he is. See, he's on a horse
I need to get my
riding across the sky.